Northens Media PR and Marketing Limited presents the Global IP Matrix Magazine Issue 22. Front cover text. GIP Matrix 22, front cover text. All or nothing. What can and cannot be protected by US copyright in the age of AI? Qatar's IP landscape gets a major upgrade in 2024. Building a hub for innovation. Defenses to trademark infringement claims. Ghana, Nigeria, and the Gambia compared. Parallel imports in a Sri Lankan context. Fixing what wasn't broken. Patents, touchscreens, and the button fightback. New segment. Behind the brief. A closer look at the people behind powering IP law around the world. Headline text. Intellectual property, beyond borders and politics. Written by Dr. Alexei Vaknin, partner and managing director of Vaknina and Partners, Russia. Front cover strip advertisement. Pat World. Patent intelligence platform and research services. www.patworld.com, mail at patworld.com, telephone, +44 016 33 816 601.
Page 2. Inside front cover advertisement. Bionat. Intellectual property since 1964. Your trusted advanced service. Rich history of speciality in intellectual property. Our services. IP legal services, patent-related services, corporate and commercial law, IP rights registrations and maintenance, trademarks-related services. www.bionat-ip.com.sa. Email info@bionat-ip.com.sa. Call +966 114127 755. Street address 6663 Old Ryan Street, Old Naval District, Riyadh 13312-3556, Saudi Arabia.
Page 3. Editor's note. Dear readers, we are delighted to present issue 22 of the Global IP Matrix, our special edition dedicated to the International Trademark Association, INTA, Conference. This issue encapsulates the dynamic and evolving intellectual property, IP, landscape as it intersects with global innovation and business strategies. The INTA Conference is a pivotal gathering for IP professionals worldwide, encouraging vital discussions that shape the future of trademark law and practice. In alignment with this spirit, our current edition offers a curated selection of articles that delve into critical topics influencing the IP domain. A central theme in this issue is the integration of artificial intelligence, AI, within the IP framework. As AI continues to revolutionize industries, it presents opportunities and challenges for IP practitioners. Our contributors provide insightful analyses on how AI reshapes patent landscapes, the nuances of AI-generated works in copyright law, and the ethical considerations accompanying these advancements. Another focal point is cross-border enforcement and the global roots of counterfeits. With counterfeit activities becoming increasingly sophisticated and transnational, our articles explore collaborative strategies among industries, intermediaries, and governments to combat this pervasive issue. The shared perspectives aim to equip rights holders with innovative approaches to detect and dismantle counterfeit networks effectively. We also spotlight the significant strides made in promoting diversity and inclusion within the IP community. Highlighting initiatives from the Women's Leadership Initiative initiatives, this edition celebrates women's progress in the field and discusses pathways to enhance representation and equity further. Additionally, this issue features regional updates, offering a comprehensive overview of recent legislative developments across various jurisdictions. These insights are invaluable for practitioners navigating the complexities of international IP law and seeking to stay abreast of emerging trends and regulatory changes. We thank the expert authors and industry voices who have contributed their knowledge and perspectives to this edition. Their expertise enriches our collective understanding and helps build a more informed and connected IP community. As we navigate the ever-evolving IP landscape, it is imperative to remain engaged, informed, and proactive. We hope that this special edition enhances your knowledge and sparks meaningful dialogue and collaboration that will shape the future of intellectual property. Thank you for your continued support and readership. Management Team. Northons Media PR and Marketing Limited. Published by Northons Media PR and Marketing Limited. Carlos Northon. CEO and founder, Northons Media PR and Marketing Limited, publisher of the Global IP Matrix, the Women's IP World and the Caribbean IP Annual. Carlos at northonsprmarketing.com. Dhruva Dakani. Director of Creative Design and Global Marketing for the Global IP Matrix, the Women's IP World and the Caribbean IP Annual. Dhruva at northonsprmarketing.com. Igor Lang. Global Sales Account Manager for the Global IP Matrix, the Women's IP World and the Caribbean IP Annual. Igor at northonsprmarketing.com. Zafira Hudani. Reporter for Northons Media PR and Marketing Limited for the Global IP Matrix, the Women's IP World and the Caribbean IP Annual. Zafira at northonsprmarketing.com. Craig Barber. Head of Design for the Global IP Matrix, the Women's IP World and the Caribbean IP Annual. Info at northonsprmarketing.com. Page 4. Editorial Board of Directors. Malden Vukma, Vukma Attorneys, Croatia. Keisha Fleming Lake, Managing Partner at Cerveri Monsuarez, Anguilla. Laura Collada, Managing Partner, Dumont, Mexico. Max Montero, Partner, Johansson and Langlois, Chile. Ray Zhao, Senior Partner at Unitlan Attorneys at Law, China. Sarah Norka Anku, Managing Partner, S.N., Anku IP Law Firm, Ghana. Page 5. Contents. Page 9. Innovating for Tomorrow, the Role of Universities in Shaping Global Patent Landscapes. Written by Dr. Shweta Singh, Founder and CEO, Ennoble IP, India. Page 13. Fixing What Wasn't Broken, Patents, Touchscreens, and the Button Fightback. Written by Geraint James, Senior IP Manager, Patworld Limited, United Kingdom. Page 19. Intellectual Property, Beyond Borders and Politics. Written by Dr. Alexei Vaknin, Partner and Managing Director of Vaknina and Partners, Russia. Page 23. Understanding US and EU Patent Systems. Written by Zafira Hudani, Reporter at Northons Media PR and Marketing Limited, London, UK. New segment. Behind the Brief. Page 26. Journey from paralegal to law firm partner and dominating the IP industry in St. Lucia. Written by Leon Theodore John, Partner and Head of IP at Nicholas John & Company, St. Lucia. Page 29. The LLM MIP degree and optional practical training, OPT shaping the future of intellectual property law. Written by Sarah Dorner, Assistant Dean for Graduate Admissions and International Outreach at the University of New Hampshire Franklin Pierce School of Law, USA. Page 31. All or Nothing. What can and cannot be protected by U.S. copyright in the age of AI. Written by Michelle S. Katz, Founding Partner at Advitum IP LLC, USA. Page 35. Parallel Imports in a Sri Lankan Context. Written by Anomi Wanigasekara, Partner, and Sabira Sharif, Senior Associate at Julius & Creasy, Sri Lanka. Women's IP Bite-Size Segment. Page 38. Qatar's IP landscape gets a major upgrade in 2024, building a hub for innovation. Written by Rima Hassan, International Coordinator at JAH Intellectual Property, Doha, Qatar. Page 41. Defenses to trademark infringement claims, Ghana, Nigeria, and the Gambia compared. Written by Sarah Norka Anku, Global Managing Partner and co-author by Onyenichukwu Mary Magdalene Okeya-Dotsi, Head of Nigeria Office at SN Anku IP Firm, Ghana. Page 45. Re-entering the Russian market, brand protection considerations for foreign businesses. Written by Yevgeny Alexandrov, Senior Partner, and Alexei Krashuk, Partner at Gorodisky and Partners, Russia. Conference Corner Segment. Page 50. Unleash the Power of IP, Bears on the Loose, are coming up soon at the ECTA 43rd Annual Conference. Written by Paula Ruggiero, ECTA First Vice President responsible for the ECTA Academic Program. Page 53. AIPPI World Congress 2025. A conversation with Ralph Knack, Reporter General, on the road to Yokohama 2025. Hosted by Zafira Hudani, a reporter at Northlands Media PR and Marketing Limited, London, UK. Page 6. Contributors. The Global IP Matrix Magazine, Issue 22. Michelle S. Katz, Founding Partner at Advitum IP LLC, USA. Geraint James, Senior IP Manager at Patworld Limited, UK. Anomi Wanigasekara, Senior Partner at Julius & Creasy, Sri Lanka. Sabira Sharif, Senior Associate at Julius & Creasy, Sri Lanka. Alexei Krashuk, Partner at Gorodisky & Partners, Russia. Dr. Shweta Singh, Founder and CEO, Ennoble IP, India. Zafira Hudani, Reporter at Northern S Media PR and Marketing Limited, UK. Paula Ruggiero, ECTA First Vice President responsible for the ECTA Academic Program. Rima Hassan, International Coordinator at JAH Intellectual Property, Doha, Qatar. Ralph Knack, Reporter General, for AIPPI World Congress. Yevgeny Alexandrov, Senior Partner at Gorodisky & Partners, Russia. Sarah Norka Anku, Global Managing Partner at SN Anku IP Firm, Ghana. Leon Theodore John, Partner and Head of IP at Nicholas John & Company, St. Lucia. Onyenichukwu Mary Magdalene Okeya Dotsi, Head of Nigeria Office at SN Anku IP Firm, Ghana. Dr. Alexei Vaknin, Partner and Managing Director at Vaknina & Partners, Russia. Sarah Dorner, Assistant Dean for Graduate Admissions and International Outreach at the University of New Hampshire Franklin Pierce School of Law, USA.
Page 7. Advertisements. Advert 1. United Trademark and Patent Service. Intellectual Property Attorneys. Your reliable partners for intellectual property matters in Pakistan, South Asia, Arabian Gulf, Middle East and Africa. Trademark, patent, design, copyright, domain name registration, litigation and enforcement law. Pakistan Office. 85, The Mall Road, Lahore 54000, Pakistan. Adjacent Radho Kronos/Hang 10 Mall Plaza Building. Telephone. +92 42 3628 5588 to 90, +92 42 3628 5581 to 84. Fax. +92 42 3628 5585, 3628 5586, 3628 5587. Email, unitedtrademark@unitedtm.com. Websites www.utmps.com and www.unitedip.com. Advert 2. Orbis IP and Law. Protect what's yours. Create what's next. We provide expert services for the protection and management of your intellectual property rights in Turkey. Address: Aladdin Bey Ma, İzmir Yolu Senjasan Business Center No. 297 Block A No. 27161220 Nilüfer/Bursa Turkey. Phone: +90,224,247 Email: orbis@orbisiplaw.com. Website: www.orbisiplaw.com.
Page 8. Advertisements. Advert 1. H.K. Acharya and Company, India. Advocates, patent and trademarks attorneys. Our services: patent, design, IP litigation, trademarks, licensing, IP valuation, copyrights, and many more. Contact details: HK Avenue 19, Swastik Society, Navrangpura, Ahmedabad 380009, India. Telephone: +917926425258/5259. Fax: +917926425256 and 2/5-263. info@hkindia.com. Website: hkindia.com. Advert 2. Intel's. Group of companies since 1988. One family. Huge history. full range, trademark, patents, litigation, Russia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Estonia, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Latvia, and many more. Website, intels.group. Email, agency@intels.group. Advert 3. LexSynergy. Founded by lawyers for lawyers. Speak your language. What are you doing about domains? Do you or your client want to apply for your own branded domain extension? Partner with legal domain experts. LexSynergy.com. Advert 4. Alegria Martinez and Fernandez Wong. Your vision, our mission. One stop for all IP solutions in Mexico. IP litigation, trademarks, patents, copyrights, plant varieties, technology transfer, IP due diligence, licensing, corporate law. Rio Tiber 87 3rd floor, Colonel. Cuauhtemoc, CP 06500, Mexico City, Mexico. Telephone +5 25555331065. www.allegrium.mx. Contacto@allegrium.mx.
Page 9. Article. Disclaimer: images and references related to this article can only be seen in the print and digital versions of the magazine. Innovating for Tomorrow: The Role of Universities in Shaping Global Patent Landscapes. Written by Dr. Shweta Singh, founder and CEO, Ennoble IP, India. In the 21st century, innovation has emerged as the cornerstone of economic growth, technological advancement, and global competitiveness. At the heart of this innovation ecosystem lie universities, not only as centers of learning and knowledge creation but increasingly as powerhouses of intellectual property, IP, and patent generation. From Silicon Valley to Singapore, academic institutions are driving breakthrough research, shaping global patent trends, and strengthening the symbiotic relationship between academia and industry. This article delves into the transformative role universities play in global IP landscapes, offering a comparative perspective across countries and showcasing successful university-industry collaborations. Universities, the new engines of innovation. Traditionally, universities were viewed primarily as institutions for imparting education and advancing theoretical knowledge. Their mission focused on teaching and academic scholarship, with limited emphasis on practical applications beyond the classroom. However, the advent of the knowledge economy has transformed this role significantly. Today, universities are no longer just centers of learning, they are integral to national innovation ecosystems. In the contemporary landscape, universities are expected to generate cutting-edge research, develop patentable technologies, foster startup ecosystems, and serve as key drivers of economic development. This paradigm shift has been driven by multiple interconnected factors. Increased government support for research and innovation. Many governments around the world have ramped up investment in higher education research and development, recognizing universities as engines of innovation and economic growth. These investments often come with expectations of tangible outcomes such as patents, prototypes, and commercial ventures. Global rankings and reputation metrics. National and international university rankings now place a strong emphasis on research output, citations, patents filed, and technology commercialization. As a result, institutions are motivated to build robust R&D infrastructure, prioritize innovation-driven programs, and actively participate in IP creation. Policy support for university-industry collaboration. Strategic policies and incentives have encouraged academia to engage directly with industry. Through collaborative R&D, sponsored research projects, and industrial consultancy, universities are increasingly becoming solution providers to real-world challenges faced by businesses and society. Establishment of institutional IP ecosystems. The emergence of in-house technology transfer offices, TTOs, intellectual property rights, IPR, cells, and innovation and entrepreneurship centers has institutionalized the process of managing IP, licensing technologies, and nurturing startups. These dedicated units play a pivotal role in guiding faculty and students through the IP value chain, from ideation to commercialization. This evolution underscores the need for universities to balance their traditional academic goals with their expanding role in fostering innovation, entrepreneurship, and societal impact. In doing so, they not only contribute to national development but also position themselves as global leaders in the knowledge economy. Global perspectives, a comparative snapshot. Let us examine how different countries are leveraging their universities to build IP-rich ecosystems. United States, the gold standard. The United States has long been recognized as a global leader in fostering university-based innovation and entrepreneurship. A major catalyst for this leadership was the Bayh-Dole Act of 1980, a transformative piece of legislation that allowed universities, small businesses, and non-profits to retain the IP rights to inventions developed through federally funded research. Prior to this, such inventions were typically owned by the government, and commercialization was rare. Bayh-Dole sparked a dramatic increase in university patenting and licensing activity, laying the foundation for the modern knowledge economy. This policy shift not only encouraged academic institutions to invest in IP management and commercialization but also helped align university research with industry needs, leading to significant socio-economic impact. Some of the most iconic institutions driving this movement include Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. MIT stands at the forefront of academic innovation, renowned globally for its ability to turn research into real-world solutions. The institute's culture promotes an entrepreneurial mindset, integrating IP creation, industry collaboration, and startup development as core components of its ecosystem. Through its Technology Licensing Office, TLO, MIT has generated thousands of patents, licensed groundbreaking technologies, and supported the creation of more than 30,000 companies worldwide, collectively employing millions of people and generating trillions in revenue. Many of these companies have become household names and leaders in sectors ranging from robotics and AI to energy and advanced manufacturing. Stanford University. Situated in the heart of Silicon Valley, Stanford has played a defining role in the rise of the global tech industry. Its close ties to industry and an open innovation culture have made it a cradle for high-impact research and entrepreneurial ventures. Technologies developed at Stanford have led to the founding of companies like Google, Cisco, Hewlett-Packard, and NVIDIA, with significant contributions in computing, biotechnology, and artificial intelligence. The university's Office of Technology Licensing, OTL, actively facilitates the transfer of knowledge from lab to market, helping students and faculty commercialize research while ensuring societal benefit. Stanford's alumni and faculty entrepreneurs have created an innovation ecosystem that continues to inspire universities across the world. Together, institutions like MIT and Stanford exemplify how policy, institutional support, and a culture of innovation can empower universities to become powerful engines of economic development and technological advancement. The US model has since been emulated globally, influencing how nations shape their university industry innovation strategies. China, a rapid ascent. In recent years, China has rapidly climbed the global IP ladder, with universities playing a central role. The Chinese government has made substantial investments in higher education and R&D. Tsinghua University and Peking University are top contributors to China's patent filings, especially in electronics, materials science, and engineering. In 2022, Chinese universities accounted for over 60% of all domestic invention patent applications. China's Double First Class initiative aims to create world-class universities and disciplines, with innovation and patent output as key metrics. India, the emerging powerhouse. India's journey in building a university-led IP ecosystem is gaining momentum. With the Government of India pushing policies like the National IPR Policy, 2016, National Innovation and Startup Policy, NISP, and the Atal Innovation Mission, Indian universities are beginning to emphasize patent filings, research commercialization, and encourage entrepreneurship. LITS and IISc have become the leading academic patent filers in India. Institutions like Jain University, Satyabama University, Sikska O. Anushandan University, Amity University, NITS Lovely Professional University and Chitkara University have also established robust IP cells and incubation centers. The rise of industry-academia collaborations, IACs, is enabling SMEs and startups to access breakthrough innovations. Europe, a regional approach to academic IP. Europe's innovation ecosystem is driven by collaborative research frameworks, such as Horizon Europe and the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, EIT. ETH Zurich, Switzerland, and the Technical University of Munich, Germany, are renowned for high-impact patents and startup spin-outs. Many European universities are aligning their IP strategies with Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, focusing on green technology, health, and social innovation. Technology transfer is often facilitated by university-owned IP management companies, e.g., Oxford University Innovation in the UK. Middle East, a rising innovation hub. Countries in the Gulf region, particularly the UAE and Saudi Arabia, are investing heavily in transforming their education sectors to become innovation-driven. Khalifa University and King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, KAUST, have emerged as research and IP leaders in the Middle East. With strong government support, these universities are producing patents in areas like renewable energy, water purification, and robotics. University-industry partnerships, catalysts of commercialization. The real power of university-generated IP lies in its commercialization. Universities that actively collaborate with industries tend to have higher technology transfer success rates. Case study: Stanford and Silicon Valley. Stanford's strategic proximity and deep linkages with the tech industry have enabled it to serve as a feeder for tech giants like Google, Cisco, and Hewlett-Packard. Its Office of Technology Licensing, OTL, has generated billions in licensing revenue. Case study: University of Tokyo. Japan's University of Tokyo runs one of the world's most structured IP and licensing programs. It has helped commercialize advanced technologies in electronics and healthcare, boosting Japan's industrial competitiveness. Case study: IIT Madras Research Park. India's IIT Madras has set up a unique research park that brings together academia, industry, and startups under one roof. It has led to numerous collaborative patents and innovation-driven companies. How strong IP portfolios can transform national innovation landscapes. A robust IP portfolio in universities is not just a marker of research excellence but a strategic asset that can drive national innovation, economic growth, and global influence. When universities produce a high volume of quality patents, the entire country benefits in multiple ways. Boosting national innovation rankings. Countries like South Korea, China, and the US have climbed global innovation indices largely due to the strength of academic IP output. Attracting foreign investment. Strong university research and patents attract multinational corporations looking to invest in R&D hubs or forge collaborations. Enhancing global reputation. Institutions with a solid IP base bolster their country's soft power and intellectual leadership on the world stage. Driving startup ecosystems. Patented technologies from universities serve as the bedrock for startups, fostering job creation and entrepreneurship. Enabling sectoral growth. Breakthrough university research directly fuels innovation in industries such as pharmaceuticals, energy, agriculture, and AI. Policymakers must recognize that empowering universities to build and manage their IP portfolios effectively is central to long-term innovation strategy. Challenges and opportunities. Despite the success stories, universities worldwide face several challenges in scaling their IP capabilities. Lack of awareness and training in IP among researchers. Limited funding for patent filings, especially in developing nations. Difficulty in bridging the gap between lab research and market demand. Complex IP ownership and revenue-sharing frameworks. However, with targeted interventions, these challenges can be turned into opportunities. Government support and subsidies for academic patenting. International collaborations for joint research and IP development. Capacity building for technology transfer offices. Inclusion of IP education in the academic curriculum. The road ahead: universities as IP powerhouses. As the fourth industrial revolution continues to evolve, universities will play an even more critical role in shaping the future of innovation. Emerging technologies like AI, quantum computing, biotechnology, and green energy will be born in academic labs before transforming global industries. Policy frameworks must support and reward this role by encouraging industry-academia collaboration, easing patenting processes for academic researchers, supporting entrepreneurship through university incubators. Conclusion. From the sprawling campuses of California to the research parks of Tokyo and the innovation centers of Bangalore, universities are becoming the epicenters of IP creation and commercialization. Their contributions to the global patent landscape are not only redefining academic excellence but also propelling industries into the future. As we look to a world increasingly driven by ideas and technology, empowering universities to lead the innovation agenda is not just strategic, it is imperative. By building robust ecosystems that integrate research, IP, and commercialization, universities can truly fulfill their promise of innovating for tomorrow.
Page 12. Advertisement. Denise Services. We protect your business. Digital escrow. Online. Global. Reliable. Join our global distribution network. Digital escrow. Effortless, 100% online, audit-proof, expert service. INTA 2025. Meet us at booth number 1350. Contact us and get your personal demo. www.escrow-digital.com. escrow@denic-services.de.
Page 13. Article. Disclaimer: images and references related to this article can only be seen in the print and digital versions of the magazine. Fixing What Wasn't Broken, Patents, Touchscreens, and the Button Fight Back. Written by Geraint James, Senior IP Manager, Patworld Limited, United Kingdom. About the author. Geraint James is a Senior IP Manager with over a decade of experience in patent analysis. While his professional background lies primarily in the life sciences sector, he has a passion for cars and automotive design. Combining IP landscape insight with an eye for design, Geraint brings a unique perspective to the intersection of innovation, functionality, and form. Introduction. There is a distinct feeling when you settle into the cabin of a well-designed car. It's more than the shape of the seat or the smell of new leather, it's the tactility, the layout, the promise that every control is exactly where it ought to be. This emotional and functional experience has long been encoded into switchgear, a design cornerstone that not only communicates brand identity but also usability. And it's this very physicality, now threatened by touchscreens, that is making an interesting return, as seen not just in design trends, but in patent data. In analyzing patent classifications related to touchscreen and physical interface systems, we uncover a story that goes beyond design preference. It's a reflection of shifting priorities, technical limitations, and a reawakening to the value of tactility. Patent trends reveal that while the 2010s saw an explosion in touchscreen interface filings, touchscreen-related innovation is tapering off. Meanwhile, filings for more traditional mechanical switchgear are recovering. In other words, what felt like a technological inevitability is now being quietly, but firmly, re-evaluated. And it all began with buttons. The Subaru XT Coupe, for example, had one of the most fascinating button layouts in automotive history, two sweeping pods of controls flanking the steering wheel like a sci-fi command center. Saab, ever proud of its aerospace heritage, crafted cockpits that genuinely felt like they could take off. Switches were angled toward the driver, controls resembled avionics, and there was even a centrally mounted start button for dramatic effect. Audi, meanwhile, reportedly spent years fine-tuning the tactility of its buttons, settling on 1.5 mm as the Goldilocks depth of travel. Land Rover ensured its switchgear could be used with gloved hands, reaffirming its commitment to practical ruggedness. These weren't just components, they were an expression of brand philosophy. Then came the touchscreen. Mapping, meaning, and missteps. Replacing sculpted plastics with glossy black glass was intended to feel like a step forward. But much like self-checkout kiosks at supermarkets, the result often felt more impersonal than intuitive. Design guru Don Norman famously argued that good design should follow natural mapping and provide clear signifiers. In other words, form should follow function. For example, a rotary dial located near the stereo signifies to the user that rotating it will change the volume. Touchscreen interfaces, by contrast, tend to bury functions in layers of submenus, which is about as intuitive as placing the door handle next to the gear lever, take note, TVR. Where a single button once sufficed to change a radio station, we now navigate through shimmering menus, with each tap demanding attention better reserved for the road. As car interiors become increasingly digital, many risk losing the design cues that once differentiated them. In a world of flat black panels, a car's dashboard becomes just another screen. This shift hasn't gone unnoticed. The European New Car Assessment Programme, Euro NCAP, has recently tightened its guidelines. From 2026, cars will be required to feature physical buttons for essential functions such as hazard lights, indicators, wipers, and horn if they want to achieve a 5-star safety rating, ETSC. EU. It's a rare win for common sense and thumbs. The patent pendulum. When touchscreens first made their way into dashboards, the automotive industry responded with a flurry of innovation. The following figures track filings in graphical user interface, GUI, touchscreen-related classes, G06F30488*, in the automotive sector, B60*. Fig. 1 tells the story. Between 2006 and 2016, there was a dramatic rise in patent families related to touchscreen GUIs for vehicles. Filing volumes peaked around 2016, an inflection point that marked not only maturity but the beginning of a gradual decline. Fig. 2 shows who was driving this growth. Volkswagen leads with over 220 touchscreen-related patent families, followed closely by Hyundai and Toyota. Audi also makes a notable appearance, somewhat ironically, given its history with precision-crafted buttons. Fig. 3 provides a longitudinal look at activity. Volkswagen's filings peaked in 2014, with Audi and Denso following a similar trajectory. Hyundai and Toyota maintained strong filing volumes into the late 2010s, while PSA Automobiles emerged as one of the most active entities in recent years. The tapering off across multiple assignees suggests not a lack of interest in touchscreens per se, but perhaps a shift in focus, either to software, hybrid solutions, or away from all touch interfaces entirely. This turning tide is echoed by customer feedback, regulation, and technical design realities. There's only so much that can be solved with another menu layer. Buttons make a comeback. As touchscreen-related filings have slowed, patent activity in mechanical switchgear has begun to recover. Fig. 4 charts filings under H01H3 or asterisk in the automotive space, revealing a notable shift. Switchgear patents peaked in 2005 to 2006, long before the touchscreen boom, then dropped steadily to a low in 2015, just ahead of the touchscreen peak. Since then, filings have climbed again, suggesting that some original equipment manufacturers, OEMs, are revisiting physical interfaces with renewed intent. This renewed interest may stem from a combination of factors: usability, safety, mechanical reliability, and consumer preference. But the patent activity indicates something more fundamental, a belief that physical interaction is still worth investing in. Looking forward, and sometimes back. Some manufacturers have already embraced a middle path. The new Skoda Superb uses rotary dials with touch-sensitive surfaces, a hybrid that combines tactile control with digital flexibility. It's perfect for when you need to warm your seat, or someone else's, with minimal distraction. Then there are outright reversions. Bugatti's Tourbillon, the successor to the Chiron, features a stunning mechanical gauge cluster that looks more like a Swiss chronograph than a dashboard. Many digital displays today still mimic analog dials, visually replicating needles and bezels. It's an interesting paradox, digital pretending to be analog, possibly because the original worked so well. Conclusion: patents point the way. The evolution of interface design in vehicles has often been viewed through the lens of aesthetics and usability. But the patent landscape provides a clearer, and more objective, view of the trajectory. Touchscreens dominated patent filings for nearly a decade, but filings are falling. Meanwhile, switchgear patents are recovering. As regulators step in and consumer sentiment shifts, the industry seems to be realizing what was perhaps obvious all along: some things weren't broken. Buttons, with their tactility, immediacy, and reliability, still have a critical role to play. And if you want to know where car interiors are really heading, don't just look at the dashboards, look at the patents. Note: data for priority filings may be incomplete for recent years, due to publications that have yet to be published that will claim priority in these years. Data used for Figures 1, 2, and 3, classification G06F30488*, GUI, using a touchscreen or digitizer, and B60, vehicles in general. Data used for Figure 4, classification H01H3 or *, mechanisms for operating contacts of electric switches, and B60, vehicles in general. How PatWorld supports innovation. Integrated patent landscape analysis not only charts the decline in touch-focused innovation but highlights emerging white space for OEMs reconsidering the value of physical control systems. PatWorld's advanced patent database offers companies the tools to identify emerging trends, track competitor activity, and uncover white space in crowded technology areas. With powerful analytics and intuitive search features, PatWorld empowers engineers, designers, and IP professionals to make informed decisions at every stage of the innovation lifecycle, from concept to commercialization. Whether you're refining a tactile switch or developing the next-generation GUI system, PatWorld can help ensure your IP strategy is aligned with where the industry is headed. Further information. To explore how PatWorld can support your innovation strategy with powerful patent analytics and intuitive tools, visit www.patworld.com. You can also connect with Geraint James on LinkedIn to discuss industry trends, patent strategy, or car design nostalgia. LinkedIn. In Geraint James 307117101.
Page 17. Advertisement. IP Tech and Innovation Services Annual. Spotlighting the game changers delivering innovation and support across the IP industry. Launching at IP Service World, Munich, Germany, 24 November 25, 2025. Email, technovation@northonsprmarketing.com. +44 0 2038130457. www.iptechnovation.com. Page 18. Advertisement. Northons Media PR and Marketing Limited Presence. IP360 Hub. The global industry guide connecting the global IP community. IP360 Hub connects IP professionals, law firms, and service providers through an affordable print and digital platform. Expand your network and visibility. IP360 Hub Handbook 2026. Visit www.ip360hub.com. Email, info@northonsprmarketing.com. Phone, +440203813047.
Page 19. Article. Disclaimer: images and references related to this article can only be seen in the print and digital versions of the magazine. Intellectual Property, Beyond Borders and Politics. Written by Dr. Alexei Vaknin, Partner and Managing Director of Vaknina and Partners, Russia. Alexei Vaknin, elected in 2024 as President of the Chamber of Patent Attorneys of the Russian Federation, reviews some aspects of IP development in Russia. During the last decade, politics and geopolitical events have become a part of our lives, and, unfortunately, have been significantly affecting the professional work of the IP community. Speaking of IP in Russia, there were a lot of publications in foreign media, fake news, rumors, let alone restrictions and sanctions against nationals of Russia. According to some fake news publications, the IP in Russia has long been destroyed and dead. And having been asked at various IP conferences about IP in Russia, we would like to summarize now the current health of IP in Russia. The most important message to all our colleagues is that the Russian Patent Office and the judicial system remain beyond politics and continue to protect and register the intellectual property of all rights holders from all countries impartially and without discrimination. The Rospatent and EAPO have continuously confirmed their approach to protecting the IP rights of owners. It is one of the reasons for the fast growth of the filing of applications within the Rospatent from both Russian and foreign applicants. According to WIPO statistics, in 2023, Russia entered the top 3 countries with the largest number of trademark applications, in third place after China and the United States. See the WIPO statistics. IP facts and figures reference to WIPO website. For many readers from Europe and other countries, it may seem surprising. Despite the sanctions of some countries and restrictions, Russian business has set records in the filing of new trademarks in 2022 to 2023. It is already understood that the statistics for the year 2024 will show growth even more impressive. This is due to various reasons. The increase in the number of applications in October 2024 is due to the increase in official fees. A number of innovations in IP, such as the possibility for individuals to register trademarks. The rapidly growing activity of Russian business and Asian and Latin American countries seeking to quickly take a place in the Russian market vacated by the European companies, which left the market. Trust by the foreign and local applicants in the system of protection of IP rights in Russia. What does it mean for business? Russian businesses and companies from Asia are actively seizing market niches after EU and US businesses hastily withdrew. According to Rospatent, the most popular field for the registration of new trademarks in 2023 to 2024 is clothing and footwear, accounting for 21.9% of applications. The next are software, electronics, and smartphones, 17.5%. Among the leaders are household chemicals, perfumes and cosmetics, printed products and stationery, confectionery and bakery products. As we mentioned earlier, the IP of foreign applicants, regardless of their citizenship or origin, is protected and registered. Our firm, Vaknina and Partners, successfully represents the interests of applicants from around the world, including the US, Canada, China, India, Australia, Japan, Germany, Great Britain, Brazil, South Africa, and others. On a regular basis, we participate in court hearings of various instances in Russia, the Intellectual Property Court and the Chamber of Patent Disputes, representing Russian clients as well as small Western companies or large international corporations, pharmaceutical giants, leading oil companies, and manufacturers of well-known brands of clothing and cars. No discrimination of applicants' rights in the patent office or courts was ever faced by our lawyers, unlike a discriminatory approach to our Russian applicants' rights, which, to our regret, became legal in Europe. Moreover, Rospatent has repeatedly stated that Russia continues to observe all international treaties and conventions and would not discriminate against any applicants, on national or other grounds, to register and protect IP on equal rights and from owners from Western countries, Germany, the US, France, Spain, Italy, Canada, etc. Fast IP growth in Russia. As seen from the statistics, the IP volumes and IP business in Russia are growing rapidly and successfully. There are several reasons for this successful growth. 1. US and EU sanctions. The sanctions unexpectedly became an incentive for the growth of Russian business. In order to replace companies from the US and EU that had left the market, Russian businesses started developing new directions and their own production. For example, before 2014, most cheeses and dairy products in Russia were supplied from EU countries, Switzerland, Italy, Finland, etc. After 2014, Russian businesses began to actively increase production, and the sanctions forced the Russian market to grow and develop rapidly, resulting in explosive growth and expansion of the domestic market. It turns out that Russian companies can produce high-quality products and successfully supply them to the markets of other countries. Business growth in other industries is developing in the same way. Factories and enterprises of Western businesses, abandoned by their owners, are learning to produce high-quality products and gradually entering new markets, creating competition for their former owners. Developing businesses are filing an enormous number of new trademarks, designs, and inventions, trying to gain recognition in Russia and other countries. 2. Mimicry. In fact, many large Western companies do not want to leave Russia as the market is large and commercially profitable. For many Western companies, it brought in up to 50 to 70% of the company's total revenue. However, many companies are forced to leave the market under pressure. To avoid leaving the market, they establish new companies and file and register a series of new trademarks that differ from their popular Western brands. And the new companies continue to successfully operate in the market on behalf of companies not officially related to the EU, Canada, and the US. The number of trademarks filed in Russia by such new companies from Europe and the US is also growing steadily. 3. Refiling of old and well-known trademarks. Recently, we have seen a sharp increase in trademark filings from world-famous companies that officially left the Russian market in 2022 to 2023. These companies are concerned about the loss of the Russian market and seek opportunities to return. Fearing the loss of their trademarks in Russia due to a 3-year non-use period, many companies are beginning to file new trademark series in Russia. This would allow them an opportunity to win another 3 years and to openly return to the Russian market without significant losses. Having confidence in the IP protection system in Russia and planning to return to Russia, world-famous companies are filing dozens of new trademarks, from Japanese manufacturers to French fashion houses and luxury brands. 4. Asian tiger. Asia entered the Russian market long ago. Now, Asian business is consolidating and strengthening. The development of production and the supply of Asian equipment is a key factor in the growth of the number of trademarks and inventions filed by applicants from various Asian countries. The activity of Chinese and Indian businesses has increased by an order of magnitude. The market is being actively occupied by modern and high-quality products from Asian countries. The result is an increase in applications from Asian countries. What does it sum up to? The IP in Russia is being actively protected, regardless of the nationality of applicants, patent, or trademark owners. All international treaties and conventions in Russia are being observed and respected. The economics and business are actively growing, and cooperation with the BRICS countries is strengthening. The professional community of IP experts and attorneys is actively developing. The number of patent attorneys in the Russian Federation already exceeds 2,500 attorneys, and they are actively uniting in professional communities, such as the rejuvenated Chamber of Patent Attorneys of the Russian Federation and the Assembly of Eurasian Patent Attorneys established in 2023. We hopefully look forward to the end of geopolitical turbulence and to the active growth and development of the Russian and Eurasian patent and trademark systems. Let's have IP without politics. In order to help the applicants and attorneys from different countries to independently cooperate with the countries of Eurasia, a dedicated association was established in 2023, the Eurasian Patent Attorneys Assembly, EPAA. The new association would allow us to hold independent conferences in the countries of Eurasia and to invite colleagues from around the world regardless of country, nationality, and political views. There will be no place for discrimination in the new association, and we are glad to see all colleagues, professionals from anywhere in the world who want to cooperate with us. In 2025, the EPAA conferences are scheduled to take place in the Eurasian countries of Armenia and Kazakhstan. We would be delighted to have you among our conference participants. If you have any questions regarding participation, please email ip@vaknina.ru.
Page 22. Advertisement. Vaknina and Partners, Russia. Eurasian and Russian patent and trademark attorneys. Trademarks, patents, utility models, designs. Dr. Tatiana Vaknina, Dr. Alexey Vaknina and Dr. Elena Utkina. EAPO, Armenia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Moldova, Armenia, Russia, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan. Trademarks, trademark search, trademark prosecution, trademark monitoring and trademark litigation. Contact Russia, ip@vaknina.com. Armenia, am@vaknina.com. Kyrgyzstan, kg@vaknina.com. www.vaknina.com. ip@vaknina.ru. Tel +74952314840.
Page 23. Article. Disclaimer: images and references related to this article can only be seen in the print and digital versions of the magazine. Understanding US and EU Patent Systems. A comparative overview by Zafira Hudani, reporter at Northons Media PR and Marketing Limited, London, UK. A patent is a form of protection that is given to an invention or process that satisfies certain criteria. There are different types of patents depending on the type of invention or process that is the subject of proposed protection. US. In the US, the United States Patent and Trademark Office, USPTO, is responsible for processing patent applications. A patent is a mechanism used to protect an invention. Generally, A patent is granted to an invention that is novel, useful, and non-obvious. If something is novel, it is said to be new. In addition, the invention must be useful, providing a benefit to the user. Non-obvious means not known in the field and not obvious to the ordinary person. The types of inventions or processes that are eligible for possible protection include utility patents, design patents, and plant patents. In the US, a utility patent is generally used to protect an invention that creates a new and useful process for manufacturing a good. A utility patent may also be granted for computer software. A design patent may be granted for protecting the look of a particular item. An example of this is the Rubik's Cube or the iPhone. A plant patent may be granted to the inventor who has invented or discovered a distinct and new variety of plants, other than a tuber-propagated plant or a plant found in an uncultivated state. EU. In the EU, the European Patent Office, EPO, oversees the patent application process. Patents are regulated by the European Patent Convention, EPC. There are 3 elements that make a process or a good eligible for a patent. These elements are novelty, inventive step, and industrial applicability. Novelty, as mentioned above, relates to the subject matter being new. The term inventive step is a notable difference. The inventive step element is unique in that it means that the new subject or process must not be obvious to a person in the field and must provide an improvement. It is noted that the EPC does not define the term invention. The industrial applicability requirement can be satisfied by showing that it can be applied for use in a particular field, similar to the utility requirement in the US. The EPC has 4 fields or categories in which a potential patent application may be included. The first field is programs for computers. It is crucial to note that programs for computers are not regarded as inventions if the subject matter is claimed as such. The second field is products, substances, or compositions used in the treatment of a human or animal body. It is noted that the method of treatment of surgery or therapy is expressly excluded from patentability. The third field is plant and animal varieties. The fourth field includes subject matter in which commercial exploitation is contrary to morality. The EU application process differs from the US. The EU application process takes into account the various languages and the ability to obtain a single patent that protects the inventor in all member states. Both the US and EU generally use the court system to facilitate enforcement. Both the US and EU grant patents for a period of 20 years. It is important to note that as technology evolves, those who wish to apply for patents will have to take into account the possible changes in the requirements of patentability as well as the changes to legislation or regulation of potentially patentable subject matter. For this reason, it is advisable to find an attorney in the region where you live to receive the most up-to-date information before deciding to apply for a patent. Disclaimer: Zafira Hadani is a New York licensed attorney. The information provided is for informational, educational purposes only. No legal relationship is formed by reviewing, accessing, or otherwise engaging with the information provided. Attorney advertising.
Page 24. Advertisement. INTA Map 2025. Trademark Administrators and Practitioners Meeting. Join us. September 28 to 30, 2025. Berlin, Germany, where trademark administrators connect. Join us in Berlin for the Trademark Administrators and Practitioners (TMAP) meeting, the must-attend event for trademark administrators, paralegals, and attorneys managing global portfolios. Berlin awaits you. From its vibrant startup scene to its rich creative culture, Berlin is a perfect place to connect, learn, and grow. www.inta.org.
Page 25. New segment. Behind the Brief. A closer look at the people powering IP law around the world. A closer look at the people powering IP law around the world. In the ever-evolving world of intellectual property, legal professionals stand at the forefront, safeguarding innovation, protecting creative works, and shaping the legal frameworks that underpin global commerce and technological progress. Behind the Brief is a dedicated segment that shines a spotlight on the individuals and firms who are driving the future of IP law across borders. From seasoned IP litigators and patent experts to pioneering firms redefining strategy in trademark and copyright protection, this series goes beyond the courtroom to reveal the stories, motivations, and milestones of the people behind the practice. Each profile offers a unique insight into their journeys, landmark cases, leadership roles, and contributions to the advancement of IP law both locally and globally. Through Behind the Brief, we celebrate the legal minds who not only understand the value of ideas, but work tirelessly to protect them. Page 26. Article. Disclaimer: images and references related to this article can only be seen in the print and digital versions of the magazine. Leon Theodore John, her journey from paralegal to law firm partner and dominating the IP industry in St. Lucia. Prior to becoming a barrister, Leon commenced her career in the legal profession in 1989 as a legal secretary at the law firm of de Turville, John & Co. In 1993, she qualified as a paralegal and moved on to manage the law firm of Nicholas John & Company, which she founded with her husband, Nicholas John. In 2001, Leon took a sabbatical from the firm to pursue further legal studies. In 2004, she graduated from the University of Wolverhampton, England, with a Bachelor of Laws, and then on to the University of Northumbria, Newcastle, United Kingdom, where she completed her Bar Vocation course, BVC, in June 2005. Later, she was admitted to the Bar of England and Wales in July 2005 as a member of the Honourable Society of Lincoln's Inn. In September 2005, she was admitted to the Bar of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court in St. Lucia. Upon completion of her studies in 2005, Leon rejoined the firm as partner and head of IP, a position she continues to hold to this day. Nicholas John & Co. has been a member of INTA since the year 2000, and Leon recalls, together with her husband Nicholas, trotting the streets moving from one cocktail party and reception to the next during INTA annual meetings into the wee hours of the morning. These long nights and back-to-back cocktail receptions at INTA have undoubtedly redounded to the benefit of the firm, which boasts the most impressive global IP client portfolio in St. Lucia. The firm's IP portfolio spans multiple industries, ranging from the tobacco industry to the automobile industry, as well as luxury consumer goods such as perfumes, jewelry, and clothing, and hotel chains. This success, she recalls, was not by accident or through lack of hard work. Leon attributes the success of the firm's IP department to hard work, dedication to a high quality of work, professionalism, and team effort. Her staff are an invaluable and integral part of the success of the firm. Under the leadership of Leon, Nicholas John & Company's IP department is well-placed, experienced and always ready to deliver professional and world-class IP services to its clients. With 35 years of experience in IP, her vast knowledge of IP laws and related matters has served her clients well over the years. Always eager to educate on and enhance the awareness of IP rights and laws in St. Lucia, she maintains a close relationship with the Registry of Intellectual Property. Leon gives back to the community and is passionate about assisting St. Lucian entrepreneurs with the registration of their IP, particularly in the field of trademarks and copyright. The St. Lucia IP industry does not involve an aggressive litigious IP system as the jurisdiction deals mainly in registrations. Invariably, the most contentious IP issues are in the area of trademark oppositions. Leon and, by extension, Nicholas John & Co. have dominated the IP industry, and Leon is the revered IP professional when it comes to trademark oppositions. She recalls discussing a trademark opposition matter with a colleague who laughed as she exclaimed that her opponent had no chance. Doesn't she know that she is going up against the Queen of IP? The two ladies had a good laugh at the matter, and of course, the result was obvious. Nicholas John & Co. has been a member of Marquess for over 20 years and a member of the Intellectual Property Caribbean Association, IPCA, for 10 years. Leon's legal competence also covers several other areas of law, including civil litigation, corporate and commercial law, succession law, trust and estate planning, and she holds the designation of Trust and Estate Practitioner, TEP, from the Society of Trust and Estate Planning, UK, and International Financial Services. She also holds a certificate in offshore financial services from the Offshore Institute, Jesus College, Oxford University. Leon has a deep love for politics and has been keenly involved in the social and economic development of St. Lucia. She holds a certificate in campaign and elections from the Women's Campaign School at Yale University. In her public life, she has served in various capacities, including Director on the Board of Directors of the St. Lucia Development Control Authority from 2006-2009, President of the Senate from April 2010 to January 2012, Commissioner on the Constituencies Boundaries Commission from 2014-2016, Speaker of the House of Assembly from July 2016 to February 2018, Chair of the Constituencies Boundaries Commission of St. Lucia from July 2016 to February 2018, Minister Councillor at the High Commission for St. Lucia in London from March 2018 to May 2021, and Chargé d'Affaires at the High Commission for St. Lucia in London from May 2021 to February 2022. In her spare time, Leon is a culinary enthusiast who enjoys cooking as well as baking, and considers herself an epicure. She has a passion for nature and gardening and is an avid beekeeper.
Page 28. Advertisement. University of New Hampshire. Franklin Pierce School of Law. Join the intellectual property powerhouse. ASAPI scholarship opportunities. LLM. In-person and online learning options for foreign-trained lawyers. MIP. In-person and online options for students without a first degree in law. Hybrid JD. Earn your Juris Doctor degree primarily online in intellectual property, technology and information law. IP Summer Institute. Learn about hot topics in IP and access world-class faculty, researchers, and industry professionals. law.unh.edu/ip-powerhouse.
Page 29. Article. Disclaimer: images and references related to this article can only be seen in the print and digital versions of the magazine. The LLM, MIP degree and optional practical training, OPT, shaping the future of intellectual property law. At the University of New Hampshire Franklin Pierce School of Law, the journey from classroom to career is more than just a transition. It's a transformational experience that empowers students to make a significant impact in the world of law. Our alumni have not only excelled in their fields but have also become influential leaders, innovators, and mentors. Often, initial post-graduation employment for international LLM graduates is pursued through optional practical training, OPT, temporary work authorization for international students to gain experience in their field of study while maintaining their F1 visa status. Through the OPT stories that follow, we celebrate the invaluable education and experiences that help shape the early careers of IP professionals from around the globe. Victor Cronenberger, Brazil, Bridging Theory and Practice in U.S. Trademark Law. Victor's journey at UNH Franklin Pierce led him to an incredible opportunity as a law clerk at Sunstein LLP in Boston, Massachusetts, during his OPT period. Here, he put into practice the lessons learned during the LLM program. He credits the experience with transforming his understanding of U.S. trademark law and the broader IP ecosystem, in part due to the prosecution and enforcement work he engaged in with both U.S. and foreign associates around the world. The insights Victor gained into U.S. legal business practices prepared him for success in his home country of Brazil, where he says he now has a greater understanding of his clients' needs. Through networking, supported by his IP professors at Franklin Pierce, and leveraging key events with Franklin Pierce alumni, such as the International Trademark Association annual meeting, Victor was able to build professional relationships and secure his position. His biggest takeaway: engage actively with faculty, network relentlessly, and seize every opportunity to immerse yourself in the legal landscape and build relationships. Victor's story highlights the importance of hands-on experience and proactive engagement, showing future students how a combination of knowledge and networking can lead to success. Sujay Joyant, India, navigating the world of U.S. patent law. For Sujay, becoming an associate patent agent and handling patent prosecution and patent preparation was the culmination of hard work and strategic preparation. He credits the courses at UNH Franklin Pierce, including U.S. patent law and patent practice and procedures, for providing the foundation and training necessary to excel in patent drafting, claim construction, and office action responses in his daily work responsibilities. Stay consistent with your job search, network as much as possible, and leverage the support of Franklin Pierce faculty and the career and academic advising for support with your OPT job search, he advises. Sujay's story is a testament to the value of thorough academic preparation and the importance of perseverance in securing career opportunities. Sarafina Nwabueze, Nigeria, trademark expertise in action. Sarafina's OPT experience as a trademark law clerk at Markery Law gave her hands-on experience in trademark prosecution and portfolio management, a field she grew passionate about during her time at UNH Franklin Pierce. She emphasizes the role of practice-oriented classes, such as trademark law and the Intellectual Property and Transaction Clinic, in giving her the legal knowledge and practical training needed to thrive in her role, where some of her responsibilities include trademark searches, preparing and filing trademark applications, trademark prosecution, and portfolio management. Sarafina's advice for future students. Leverage every resource, professors, Office of Career and Academic Advising, and the Office of International Students and Scholars, to maximize your opportunities. Sarafina credits Franklin Pierce Career Services with providing valuable career guidance and facilitating communication with her current employer, and notes, through networking events, job postings, and personalized career advice, career and academic advising helped me identify opportunities aligned with my expertise in trademark law, refine my resume, cover letter, and interview skills, and proved invaluable in helping me successfully secure my OPT role. Sarafina's story speaks to the importance of real-world application and making the most of UNH Franklin Pierce's extensive support systems. Lavanya GT, India. Real-world experience meets IP law. Lavanya chose UNH Franklin Pierce due to the school's emphasis on practical, hands-on learn and access to a vast network of IP professionals. Her experience as a student attorney in the Intellectual Property and Transaction Clinic was a pivotal moment in her career. The hands-on exposure to real cases with the United States Patent and Trademark Office, USPTO, bridged her academic knowledge with practical application, preparing her for her transformative OPT employment as a contracts analyst in a major U.S. public health organization, where she manages a variety of contracts with a focus on IP agreements. She cites the school's annual IP Law Symposium, which featured renowned speakers and facilitated discussions on emerging trends in IP law, as well as her relationships with professors, as particularly helpful as she pursued OPT. Lavanya's journey reflects the importance of extracurricular involvement and networking. Her advice: actively participate in extracurricular activities and networking events, as they provide invaluable learning and career opportunities. Maria Gabriela Riveros Paredes, Paraguay. The leap into global IP law. Gabby's decision to pursue an LLM in the US was driven by her desire to deepen her IP knowledge and expand her global connections. Her experience at UNH Franklin Pierce not only enriched her legal expertise and cross-cultural professional connections through relationship building with classmates from around the world, but also helped her land OPT employment and ultimately full-time role as international counsel at a prominent IP law firm in Washington, D.C. Gabby used her time at Franklin Pierce to attend networking events where she met outstanding professionals who shared their journeys and provided career advice and inspiration. Gabby shares that the connections she made during her LLM studies have become a network of colleagues and friends she knows she can rely on throughout her career and who continue to enrich her professional and personal life. Gabby's advice to future students is simple yet powerful: take the leap. Go for it, even if you feel scared. UNH Franklin Pierce will support you throughout your journey. My LLM experience changed my life. I wouldn't be where I am today without it and without the people at Franklin Pierce who supported me along the way. Her story is an inspiring reminder that taking bold steps can lead to extraordinary opportunities. A legacy of success and support. The experiences shared by these alumni reflect the spirit of UNH Franklin Pierce, a place where academic excellence, real-world experience, and unparalleled support come together to create a thriving community of legal professionals. Whether it's through hands-on clinic work, networking opportunities, or personalized guidance from faculty and staff, UNH Franklin Pierce continues to equip its students with the skills and connections needed to succeed in the ever-evolving world of law. If you're ready to take the leap and follow in the footsteps of these inspiring alumni, start your journey at UNH Franklin Pierce, where your future in law begins today. Applications for on-campus and online LLM programs beginning in August 2025 are still being accepted. Learn more and apply now. law.unh.edu/ip-powerhouse. Page 31. Article. Disclaimer. Images and references related to this article can only be seen in the print and digital versions of the magazine. All or nothing. What can and cannot be protected by U.S. copyright in the age of AI. Written by Michelle S. Katz, founding partner at Advitum IP LLC, USA. Recent advancements in artificial intelligence, AI, have affected a number of areas of law, most notoriously copyright law, raising important legal questions about authorship and protection. The question that has come to surface is how to protect creative works that use artificial intelligence as an assistive tool. Generative AI has become a widely used tool for creating text, images, and audio by analyzing vast amounts of human-authored content. Using learned patterns and inferences, AI generates new material that mimics human creativity. As AI-generated works become more common, uncertainty has arisen regarding their copyright eligibility and whether applicants must disclose AI involvement. In response, the U.S. Copyright Office has clarified that only human-created works are eligible for copyright protection. AI-generated content, on its own, does not meet the legal standard for authorship. Works incorporating AI elements may still qualify, however, if they include significant human creativity. To maintain transparency, the Copyright Office requires applicants to disclose AI-generated portions and explain their original contributions. This ensures that copyright law continues to protect human intellectual effort while adapting to evolving technology. As AI tools become more sophisticated, these legal distinctions will remain crucial in determining ownership and rights in creative works. See 37 CFR. Section 202. The Copyright Office has made its stance clear: copyright protection applies only to material resulting from human creativity. Under Article 1, Section 8, Centiliter 8 of the U.S. Constitution, Congress is empowered to grant exclusive rights to authors for their writings, a term consistently interpreted to require human authorship. See Thaler v. Perlmutter, 687 F. Sup. 3D 140, 146, DDC. 2023, affirming that human authorship is a bedrock requirement of copyright. While generative AI is a relatively new development, courts have consistently ruled that works created entirely by non-human entities are ineligible for copyright protection. C. Kelly v. Chicago Park Distance, 635 F.3D 290, 304, 7th Circle. 2011. Accordingly, the Copyright Office will not register works generated solely by AI. This, however, does not mean that AI-assisted works are entirely ineligible for copyright. For example, in the case of the graphic novel Zaria of the Dawn, the office denied registration for AI-generated images but granted protection for the human-authored elements, such as the arrangement of images and the accompanying text. This decision made by the Copyright Office acknowledges AI's role as a creative tool while ensuring that copyright law remains consistent with the Intellectual Property Clause of the U.S. Constitution. To preserve the fundamental principle of human authorship, the Copyright Office requires applicants to disclose any AI-generated content in their submissions and specify their own creative contributions. As AI technology continues to advance, the distinction between human and machine-generated elements has become increasingly complex. Despite these challenges, the Copyright Office remains firm in its position that AI-generated material, by itself, is not eligible for copyright protection. As can be seen below, applicants are required to disclaim work not created by the applicant. Therefore, only the portions of a work that are independently created by a human are covered by a certificate of copyright. This means that while AI can be a tool in the creative process, it cannot be the sole creator of a copyrighted work. For example, just as a musician may find inspiration from AI-generated compositions without impacting their copyright eligibility, the final work must still reflect original human creativity. The same principle applies across artistic and literary fields. AI assistance does not disqualify a work from copyright, but the protected portions must be demonstrably human-authored. This approach ensures that copyright law continues to uphold human intellectual effort while adapting to the growing role of AI in creative fields. In conclusion, the Copyright Office has upheld the core principles of copyright law while adapting to the evolving role of AI in creative fields. Human authorship remains the foundation of copyright protection, reinforcing the long-standing requirement that only works created by human intellect and originality qualify for protection. That being said, AI has become an invaluable tool in artistic and literary creation, prompting new legal considerations regarding its role in the copyright system. To balance innovation with legal integrity, the Copyright Office requires applicants to disclose AI-generated content and clearly define their own creative contributions. This transparency ensures that only the human-authored portions of a work receive copyright protection, preserving the integrity of IP law. By mandating disclaimers, the Copyright Office not only upholds legal standards but also provides clarity for creators using AI-assisted methods. This approach allows AI to serve as an aid in the creative process without undermining copyright law's purpose, to protect and reward human creativity. As AI technology continues to evolve, this framework will be essential in maintaining fairness, originality, and the legal distinction between human-generated and machine-generated content in the copyright system. Acknowledgement is extended to Noah Siskind, law clerk, for her valuable assistance in conducting research for this article.
Page 33. Advertisement. Ad vitam IP attorneys at law. A calming influence in a chaotic world. Hackers, counterfeiters, squatters. When too much of daily professional life is filled with the stress of IP portfolio management, many companies and entrepreneurs turn to Michelle S. Katz. Calm, focused, thorough. Ad vitam IP attorneys at law. Trademarks, copyright, trade secrets, domain names, litigation, customs, anti-counterfeiting, licensing, alternative dispute resolution, and portfolio management. www.advitamip.com. Page 34. Advertisements. Advert 1. Unveil IP. Create, manage, monetize. Intellectual property. That's it. Create, manage, and monetize intellectual wealth. With Unveil IP, it's amazingly easy. Unveil IP Asia, Unveil IP Analytics, Unveil IP Paralegal. www.anavip.com. info@unveilip.com. Advert 2. IPO Annual Meeting 2025. September 7th to 9th, 2025. Manchester Grand Hyatt, San Diego, California. For more information, visit www.ipo.org/am2025. Registration opens June 2025.
Page 35. Article. Disclaimer: images and references related to this article can only be seen in the print and digital versions of the magazine. Parallel imports in a Sri Lankan context. Written by Anomi Wanigasekara, partner, and Sabira Sharif, senior associate at Julius & Creasy, Sri Lanka. A trademark is used to distinguish the goods of different enterprises. According to Lord Diplock, the interest of the general public requires that they should not be deceived by the trademark. In this context, examining the legal position in Sri Lanka in respect of parallel imports or the unauthorized importation and sale of genuine branded products is crucial, as this is a common issue for many business entities in the contemporary era and an area that has grown drastically across many industries. In Sri Lanka, the Intellectual Property Act, No. 36 of 2003, IP Act, governs all aspects of IP, including trademarks. Under the IP Act, all IP rights are territorial in nature. Sri Lanka is a signatory to many key international instruments in relation to intellectual property rights, IPR, including the TRIPS Agreement. The TRIPS Agreement sets the minimum standards for IP protection and doesn't mandate any specific rules on parallel imports. Article 6 of the TRIPS Agreement dealing with exhaustion states that, for the purposes of dispute settlement under this agreement, subject to the provisions of Articles 3 and 4, nothing in this agreement shall be used to address the issue of the exhaustion of intellectual property rights. This enables each country to decide whether or not to allow parallel imports. Registration of a trademark gives the trademark owner a set of exclusive rights over the registered mark. However, parallel imports or grey market goods can limit such exclusive rights. In Sri Lanka, the IP Act through Section 122(b) introduces a limitation to a registered trademark owner's right, and accordingly a registered trademark owner is precluded from preventing third parties from using the registered mark in relation to goods lawfully manufactured, imported, offered for sale, sold, used or stocked in Sri Lanka under that mark, provided that such goods have not undergone any change. 1 Hence, it is correct to understand that the limitation is in relation to lawful goods and that the doctrine of exhaustion is applicable in this context. It is important to understand that under the doctrine of exhaustion and territoriality, the exclusive right of a trademark owner is exhausted after the goods are placed in the market for the first time. The trademark owner cannot thereafter exercise its exclusive rights in relation to the resale of the trademark goods. According to Dr. D.M. Karunaraten, the exhaustion of rights generally results automatically and inevitably from the act of marketing the goods. 2. In the context of Sri Lanka, an exclusive distributor or a licensee in Sri Lanka of a registered trademark owner may always object to parallel imports, as the consequences will invariably diminish the legitimate expectation of their sales targets, and on the other hand a parallel importer will gain undue advantage over the goodwill and reputation developed by such an exclusive distributor or licensee. 3. Parallel imports are common in the motor spare part markets and also in relation to FMCG. The genuine importer generally faces issues of under-invoicing by parallel importers, which hinders their sales targets. The Sri Lanka customs will not act on parallel imports if the imports are authentic and imported through a legal channel, making the authorized importers helpless. 4 Therefore, the position in relation to parallel imports is that the limitation of rights provided under the IP Act will apply only in relation to lawfully imported goods which have not undergone any alteration. However, the question in relation to lawfully imported goods is a matter of interpretation. On the other hand, there are advantages as well as disadvantages in relation to parallel imports. It is very important to have a clear legal framework in relation to parallel imports, as it negatively impacts the authorized importers as well as the government. 5 While there may be certain benefits of competition and choice, consumers may be endangered if the goods are not fit for the imported market. 6 However, in a landmark case in 2012, the Supreme Court of Sri Lanka permitted parallel importation of genuine HP products procured through alternative sources. 7. In conclusion, it is important to strike a balance between the rights of a trademark owner, the consumer, the legitimate expectation of an exclusive distributor or licensee, and the economy as a whole. Page 37. Women's IP World Bite Size. Women in IP Law. Pioneering progress, embracing diversity, and inspiring the future. This segment is sponsored by JAH Intellectual Property. Featuring Ms. Rima Hassan, International Coordinator at JAH Intellectual Property, Doha, Qatar. For half a decade, I have been on the front lines at JAH Intellectual Property, mastering the intricacies of managing complex IP portfolios across the Middle East and North Africa for our clients and associates. My passion lies in navigating the unique legal landscapes of diverse jurisdictions and also ensuring our clients' rights are robustly protected. Recently, I deepened my expertise by completing an LLM in international commercial law, focusing on legal frameworks and human rights in business. Additionally, during my studies, I undertook an in-depth analysis on EU competition law and its impact on intellectual property rights, enriching my understanding of the dynamic interplay between market regulation and IP protection. Page 38. Article. Disclaimer: images and references related to this article can only be seen in the print and digital versions of the magazine. Qatar's IP landscape gets a major upgrade in 2024, building a hub for innovation. Written by Rima Hassan, International Coordinator at JAH Intellectual Property, Doha, Qatar. The year 2024 has ushered in a transformative era for intellectual property, IP, protection in Qatar, as the nation strategically positions itself as a dynamic hub for innovation and business growth. These advancements, encompassing legislative reforms, procedural enhancements, and international collaborations, underscore Qatar's unwavering commitment to fostering a robust and investor-friendly IP ecosystem. At the heart of these developments lies the establishment of a dedicated grievance committee by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, MOCI. This committee, operating under Ministerial Resolution No. 154 of 2018, now serves as a pivotal mechanism for addressing appeals related to patent applications and licensing decisions. Previously, applicants facing unfavorable decisions had limited recourse, potentially leading to delays and uncertainties. The Grievance Committee provides a structured and transparent avenue for redress, ensuring that all patent-related matters are reviewed with impartiality and expertise. This development is crucial in building trust and confidence among inventors and businesses, encouraging them to invest in research and development within Qatar. The committee's role extends beyond simply reviewing appeals. It also contributes to the refinement of patent procedures, ensuring they remain aligned with international best practices. In tandem with the establishment of the Grievance Committee, the MOCI issued a circular on June 25, 2024, outlining revised requirements for power of attorney (POA) submissions for trademark prosecution. These revisions aim to streamline the administrative process and enhance the integrity of legal documentation. A significant change is the requirement for POAs legalized abroad to be attested by the Qatar Ministry of Foreign Affairs. This measure ensures the authenticity and validity of foreign legal documents, reducing the risk of fraudulent submissions. Furthermore, the mandatory submission of certified Arabic translations for all POAs, regardless of their original language, facilitates efficient processing by the Intellectual Property Department. This standardization promotes clarity and consistency, minimizing delays caused by language barriers and ensuring that all stakeholders have access to accurate information. The most transformative development of 2024 is undoubtedly Qatar's accession to the Madrid Protocol on May 3, 2024. This landmark decision solidifies Qatar's position as the 115th member of this prestigious international trademark system. The Madrid Protocol simplifies the process of obtaining trademark protection in multiple countries through a single application, filed in one language, and paid in one currency. For Qatari businesses, this means streamlined access to global markets, enabling them to protect their brands in up to 130 member countries with unprecedented ease. Conversely, foreign businesses seeking to establish a presence in Qatar can now leverage the Madrid Protocol to secure trademark protection within the Qatari market efficiently. This reciprocal benefit fosters international trade and investment, contributing to Qatar's economic diversification goals. Effective August 3, 2024, Qatari brand owners can now submit international trademark applications through the Madrid system, using English, French, or Spanish as their preferred language and conducting transactions in Swiss francs. This flexibility enhances accessibility and convenience for businesses, encouraging them to expand their global footprint. To ensure a predictable and transparent fee structure, Qatar has notified the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, of its preference for individual fees for Madrid Protocol designations and renewals. The specific fees are set at 1,127 Swiss francs per class for designations and subsequent designations, and 876 Swiss francs per class for renewals. This approach provides clarity and predictability for applicants, allowing them to accurately budget for international trademark protection. Complementing these procedural and international advancements is Ministerial Decision No. 60 for 2024, which introduces substantial reductions in service fees for various IP services provided by the MOCI, including patents and designs. These fee reductions, reaching up to 90% in some cases, are a strategic initiative to stimulate economic growth and foster innovation. By making IP protection more affordable, Qatar aims to encourage greater participation in the innovation ecosystem, particularly among small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, and individual inventors. This accessibility is crucial in nurturing a culture of creativity and entrepreneurship, driving the development of new technologies and products. The reduced fees also serve as a powerful incentive for foreign businesses to invest in research and development within Qatar, further enhancing the nation's appeal as a leading destination for innovation. The collective impact of these IP reforms is profound. By streamlining procedures, enhancing transparency, reducing costs, and fostering international collaboration, Qatar is creating a conducive environment for innovation and investment. The establishment of the Grievance Committee ensures fairness and efficiency in patent administration, while the revised POA requirements enhance the integrity of legal documentation. Qatar's accession to the Madrid Protocol simplifies global trademark protection, and the reduced IP service fees make innovation more accessible to businesses of all sizes. These advancements not only strengthen Qatar's IP framework but also contribute to its long-term economic growth and diversification goals. As Qatar continues to prioritize innovation and entrepreneurship, it is poised to emerge as a leading hub for IP in the region, attracting talent, investment, and cutting-edge technologies. The year 2024 marks a pivotal moment in Qatar's IP journey, setting the stage for a future where creativity and innovation thrive.
Page 40. Advertisement. Marques. 39th Annual Conference. The Hague, the Netherlands. 16th to the 19th of September, 2025. www.marques.org. x@MarquesIP.
Page 41. Article. Disclaimer: images and references related to this article can only be seen in the print and digital versions of the magazine. Defenses to trademark infringement claims, Ghana, Nigeria, and the Gambia compared. Written by Sarah Norka Anku, Global Managing Partner and co-author by Onyenichukwu Mary Magdalene Okeya-Dotsi, Head of Nigeria Office at SN Anku IP Firm, Ghana. Introduction. Despite increasing policy and legislative reforms in Africa, trademark jurisprudence remains at an infantile stage with relatively minimal precedents to guide rights holders, businesses, and investors. This article discusses trademark infringement suits and related defenses in 3 West African countries where the authors have operational presence. They are Ghana, an economically stable country in Africa, which hosts the Secretariat of the AFCFTA1, Nigeria, the second largest economy in Africa, and the Gambia, which is a relatively smaller economy but a significant member of the Banjul Protocol for the registration of trademarks under the African Regional Intellectual Property Organization. Businesses and investors cannot underestimate the legal and economic impact of trademark infringement suits in Africa. Knowing how to institute and navigate defenses of such suits is crucial to effective trademark enforcement within the 3 countries. What constitutes trademark infringement and offenses? Generally, trademark infringement, offenses, and defenses are governed by statute and common law in all 3 countries under study. Ghana. Section 9 of the Trademarks Act, 2004, Act 664, as amended provides for the rights conferred on a registered trademark owner. Therefore, any person who performs the rights, including the use of the trademark or a confusingly similar mark on similar goods and services without the rights holder's consent, infringes on the rights of the holder and, where certain elements are met, constitutes an offense under Section 26 of the Act. Nigeria. Trademark infringement occurs when a mark identical or confusingly similar to a registered trademark, leading to a likelihood of consumer confusion, is used in the course of trade by anyone who is neither the registered proprietor nor registered user. 2. The Gambia. Trademark infringement in the Gambia refers to the unauthorized use of a mark by a party other than the registered proprietor. This unauthorized use is predicated on the existence of a likelihood of confusion among consumers concerning the source or affiliation of the goods or services in question. The legal framework aims to safeguard trademark owners' exclusive rights and prevent practices that undermine market integrity. 3. Defenses to trademark infringement claims. Not all alleged infringers are automatically liable. There are several defenses available to defendants in a trademark infringement suit, for which defendants may avoid liability or reduce the severity of the legal consequences. In this article, we discuss some commonly raised defenses in trademark infringement cases as well as highlight others that may be available but have been overlooked in the jurisdictions under study. Ghana. Incomplete, invalid registration. As part of the registration process, the mark that has been applied for is published by the registrar in the Gazette or official bulletin, and any print media. Point 4. The applicant of a mark which has been published by the registrar enjoys the same rights as the owner of a registered trademark. Point 5. However, where an alleged act of infringement was committed after publication but before the mark is entered into the register, the alleged infringer may raise a defense by establishing that the mark could not have been validly registered at the time infringement was alleged. Point 6. Abandonment. Section 16(5) of Act 664, as amended, provides that the court may declare a mark abandoned by its owner. Such a declaration may constitute a defense against a claim of infringement. Point 7. Lack of intent. Section 27 of the Act 664 provides a number of defenses for acts prescribed in Section 26 of the Act. These defenses can be summed up simply as establishing the lack of intent to commit the offense. In instances where the infringement concerns acts of fraud or forgery of the mark, proving that the act was done without an intent to defraud is a good defense. In a case of forgery, Section 27(2) provides what the accused ought to prove to establish the defense. The mark should have been made in the usual course of business without interest in the sale of the infringing goods. Reasonable precautions should have been taken to avoid infringement. At the time of committing the offense there had been no doubt of the genuineness of the mark, and relevant information was given to the police about the persons on whose behalf the mark was made. Where the offense is related to the possession, trading or manufacturing of an infringing item, it is a good defense for the alleged infringer to prove that reasonable precautions had been taken to avoid infringement, and at the time of infringement, there was no reason to doubt the genuineness of the mark. Point 8. In determining whether an alleged infringer intended to infringe, the court will consider facts and circumstances of the case. Point 9. Defenses not prescribed by law may fail. Point 10. Fraudulent or bad faith registration. Where plaintiff registered a mark already in use by defendant to overreach defendant, this may be a good defense. 11. Nigeria. Unregistered trademark. A trademark must be registered prior to instituting the trademark infringement suit. Therefore, a mere submission of an application for a mark is not enough to secure protection. Point 12. Lack of likelihood of confusion. Trademark infringement claims typically require the plaintiff or registered proprietor to prove the defendant's use of a mark is likely to cause consumer confusion. When a defendant is able to demonstrate that there is no likelihood of confusion due to differences in the marks, nature of the products, or target consumers, this may serve as a strong defense. The Nigerian courts consider the similarity of the marks, the strength of the plaintiff's mark, and evidence of actual confusion. Point 13. Vested rights by prior use. The law provides that a party who can prove use prior to the trademark registration may rely on prior use as a defense in an infringement suit. Point 14. Fair use of name, address, or description of goods. Fair use is a defense against trademark infringement claims as provided by Section 8 of Capital T13. Limitations by the registrar upon registration. Section 5(3) of Capital T13 provides for conditions and limitations entered in the register. Therefore, use of the mark for which the trademark registration does not extend does not constitute an infringement of the right and may constitute a good defense. Identical marks allowed by the registrar. A defendant may raise a defense that the trademark is a registered mark and is one of two or more registered trademarks that are identical or nearly resemble each other, and its use does not constitute an infringement of the right to the use of any other trademark. Point 15. Honest concurrent use. A defendant may raise a defense that the purported infringement amounts to honest concurrent use, which may be allowed by the registrar or the court. Point 16. Generic mark. A defendant may argue that the plaintiff's trademark has become generic and is no longer entitled to protection. If the mark is found to be generic, it loses its distinctiveness and resulting trademark protection. Point 17. Bad faith registration. Where it is proven that the registered proprietor registered a trademark in bad faith, that may be a successful defense upon which a defendant may rely. Point 18. Breach of statute, trademark laws. A breach of statute by the trademark proprietor may constitute a defense in a trademark infringement suit. Point 19. Abandonment of the mark. Trademark rights may be lost if the trademark owner fails to actively use, renew, or enforce the mark. If a plaintiff has stopped using the mark for an extended period of 5 years or more without intent to resume use, the defendant may use abandonment as a defense and counterclaim for removal of the mark from the trademark register. 20. Invalidity by fraud. Where a registration was obtained by fraud, this may be a defense for a defendant in a trademark infringement suit in Nigeria. 21. The Gambia. Mistake. In the case of Ibrima Toure K. Supra, the accused raised the defense that the infringement was as a result of the mistake in branding his goods from the manufacturer who used the registered proprietor's logo on some of the goods ordered by the accused. In ascertaining whether or not the defense was applicable in the instance, the court sought to know whether, upon discovery of the mistake, the accused stopped selling the goods with the contentious mark. The court found that the accused did not willingly stop but sold as many as 100 pieces of the infringing goods. Thus, the accused was convicted, but his sentence was mitigated. Invalid mark. Section 27(2) of the Industrial Property Act provides that, where the provisions of the said section are not met, any mark thereof is not validly registered. Consequently, a defendant or accused may raise a defense that a mark which does not comply with the provisions of Section 27(2) is invalid and not a trademark under the laws of the Gambia, and consequently not enforceable. No likelihood of confusion. Per Section 27(2)(f) of the Industrial Property Act, as well as the posture of the courts, where a mark is found unlikely to cause confusion, an accused or defendant would not be convicted or held liable for infringement. Accordingly, this may be raised as a defense. 22. Abandoned mark. Section 32 of the Industrial Property Act is to the effect that, where a registered mark has not been used for at least 5 years, it may be deemed abandoned and may be raised as a defense in a trademark infringement suit. The onus falls on the registered proprietor to prove special circumstances for failure to use the mark within the period. First use of a trade name. Section 35 of the Industrial Property Act protects the use of a trade name, especially when the same was first in use before the registration of a trademark. Discussion and conclusion. Trademark infringement suits and related defenses are governed by the trademark laws of the 3 countries under study. Therefore, the known common law defenses are applicable. In some cases, some of the common law defenses and doctrines of equity have found space in statute and pronouncements by the various courts. However, not all common law doctrines may be applicable. There are some gray areas of the law that remain untested, such as the use of parody and free speech, which operate as a defense in some other jurisdictions. It is the belief of the authors that with the development of trademark jurisprudence, such matters may soon be addressed by the courts or legislated upon. In trademark suits, it may be prudent for parties to take cognizance of the statute of limitation and latches in the jurisdictions under study. We acknowledge the contributions of Yusufa Jallo, head of the Gambia office, and Ms. Sharon Okai, associate, Ghana office.
Page 44. Advertisement. INTA IP firm. Attorneys and consultants. Our jurisdictions: Ghana, the Gambia, Nigeria, the 22 ARIPO member states. Protect your innovations with confidence. info@snankuipfirm.com. 0023 3597 237710 Ghana. www.snankuipfirm.com.
Page 45. Article. Disclaimer. Images and references related to this article can only be seen in the print and digital versions of the magazine. Re-entering the Russian market, brand protection considerations for foreign businesses. Written by Yevgeny Alexandrov, senior partner, and Alexei Krashuk, partner at Gorodisky and Partners, Russia. In recent years, geopolitical changes and economic shifts have greatly impacted global business. Some foreign companies re-evaluated their presence in Russia due to sanctions, resulting in the termination or scaling back of business operations. This opened the doors for new market players, especially from Asia and the Middle East, to establish themselves in Russia. Replacement brands have notably gained significant market shares, particularly in the automotive and apparel industries. Re-establishing presence on the Russian market after a temporary absence can be a challenge for foreign companies, especially when it comes to IP protection and brand promotion activities, as well as competition with newly arrived players. This article aims to outline key considerations that trademark owners might encounter when contemplating a return to the Russian market. Trademark protection. The first thing to do when returning to the market is to make sure that the trademarks which will be used in Russia are duly registered or otherwise protected, e.g., by virtue of the Madrid system dedicated to international protection of trademarks, and, if necessary, to extend the term of their protection if it expired during the company's absence from the market, assuming the grace period is available. If not, consider refiling an application if the registration lapsed without any possibility for renewal. It is also important to check whether trademarks or similar designations have been applied for registration or registered by third parties for similar goods and services in the absence of the original brand owner, which could potentially prevent use of the mark by the genuine rights holder, including import of the branded goods into Russia. If this happens, legal actions will be required to challenge the unlawful, unfair registration, and there is only 5 years for filing invalidation action on the basis of similarity grounds, whereas invalidation action based on misleading commercial origin of goods and/or unfair completion, or abuse of rights can be filed any time during the validity of the conflicting mark. Recent practice at the Russian Trademark Office shows that unfair registrations are not allowed. A notable case involved a foreign brand that left Russia but still blocked a copycat registration. The Russian company attempted to register a Cyrillic version of Dr. Pepper for soft drinks, but the application was denied due to misrepresentation concerns, even though the original owner had terminated operations and abandoned related registrations in Russia. The Russian Trademark Office cited the brand's long history and recognition among Russian consumers, despite the lack of recent sales. The refusal was reinforced by the original owner's opposition during the examination process. Also, it is necessary to bear in mind that to maintain the validity of a trademark in Russia, it must be used. Specifically, a trademark registration becomes vulnerable to cancellation due to non-use during any 3 years following the registration date. This implies that once this grace period elapses, any interested third party gains the right to initiate a cancellation action against the trademark registration on the basis of non-use. For brands that exited the Russian market in 2022, the 3-year period of continuous non-use expires in 2025. The burden of proving the use falls upon the trademark owner during the cancellation proceedings. This means that the cancellation action can rest solely on the assumption that the mark has remained unused in Russia over the past 3 years, leaving the trademark owner responsible for demonstrating evidence of use in Russia to retain the registration's validity. It is worth noting that, according to the use requirements adopted in Russia, a trademark is considered as having been used if it has been used in Russia by the trademark owner or any other person under their control. Hence, the use of the mark through parallel import channels may not be deemed as a proper use, as it cannot be fully controlled by the brand owner. Failure to use a trademark leaves it vulnerable to attacks from squatters seeking to cancel globally recognized brands' protection in Russia. Squatters often exploit non-use periods to submit bad faith applications for identical or similar marks, aiming to secure registrations previously blocked due to prior rights. For instance, the brand Xiaomi was attacked on the basis of non-use by a company that had also filed an application for a similar trademark Xiaomi Home with respect to goods in Class 21. During the proceedings, the trademark owner failed to produce relevant evidence of use of the trademark with respect to the goods in Class 21 but insisted that his trademark was famous and therefore it should not be cancelled. However, the IP court ruled that the trademark owner is obliged to prove widespread popularity of the trademark in Russia in order to preserve its legal protection in relation to goods similar to those with respect to which the use is proved by evidence. The owner of the trademark Xiaomi could not produce evidence of the widespread popularity of the Xiaomi trademark, mistakenly believing that such fame is a well-known fact that does not require proof. As a result, the legal protection of the Xiaomi trademark was terminated in respect of all products in Class 21 for which the use was not duly proved by relevant evidence. Resolution of the IP Court dated February 16, 2023, Case No. SIP 1257, 2021. Also, the trademarks Amazon, NEC, Lenovo, Victoria's Secret, Michelin, Jaguar and some other, overall 20 cases, were attacked in a similar way by the same company, but currently without success. There are Dyson and Starbucks cases which are under consideration at the moment of writing this article. While consistent trademark use is mandatory, the law acknowledges exceptional circumstances that might justify non-use. Such scenarios include uncontrollable events like force majeure, health concerns affecting the trademark holder, and unpredictable political developments. These factors can serve as defenses against cancellation actions. Nevertheless, the Russian authorities are unlikely to accept voluntary market withdrawal or foreign-imposed sanctions as valid excuses for non-use. Since no local laws prohibit foreign trademark holders from using their brands in Russia, these arguments are generally ineffective in defending against cancellation claims. At the same time, foreign governmental export restrictions with respect to particular products may be considered as a good reason for non-use, along with other circumstances, in some cases, although the same may not constitute justification for non-use in general. For instance, in the Coto, Argentina, case, SIP 1161/2023, the court recognized governmental restrictions for exporting a particular cut of beef from Argentina as an excusable reason for non-use of a trademark in Russia. In the meantime, the IP court ruled that since the trademark had been registered with respect to a general term meat, the trademark owner had the right to use the trademark with respect to other cuts of beef that were not covered by the restrictions. In the absence of respective evidence of use, the IP court had no other choice but to terminate the trademark registration. In another Ericsson case, SIP 334/2024, the brand owner failed to prove that his products, air and heating devices, are in the list of goods of double application, i.e., can be used for civil and military purposes that are prohibited from exporting from the EU to Russia. As a result, the trademark was cancelled due to the absence of relevant evidence that the trademark owner failed to produce. As can be seen, in general, the IP court takes a very objective approach to assessing evidence of the use of a trademark and gives the trademark owner the opportunity to preserve the protection of the trademark, taking into account arguments that allow for a fair decision. Of course, in cases where the trademark owner cannot provide evidence of use or a valid reason for non-use, the court must decide on the early termination of protection of the trademark. Therefore, it is extremely important to carefully consider the documents confirming the facts of the importation and sales of goods bearing a trademark in Russia by the trademark owner or another person or company under the control of the trademark owner. Parallel import. In general, the law envisages a ban on importation of the trademarked products without consent of the trademark owner. Also, Russia is a member of the Eurasian Economic Union, EAEU, and the Treaty on the EAEU, signed on May 29, 2014, by member states, including Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Armenia, and Kyrgyzstan, establishes the regional principle of rights exhaustion, which means that if a product has been introduced into the market in one of the member states, its subsequent sale in any EAEU country does not constitute a trademark infringement. Further to an exodus of businesses, the market became hungry for some goods. In response, the Ministry of Industry and Trade issued Order No. 2701 in March 2022, legalizing imports of select goods into Russia without the owner's permission, often referred to as the list of goods allowed for parallel import. This temporary measure aimed to mitigate shortages caused by the withdrawal of several international brands from the Russian market. The ministry clarified that the procedure involves importing genuine products via alternative supply chains, not legitimizing counterfeits. At the same time, in case the trademark owner decides to resume the supply of goods to Russia, the trademark may be excluded from the list of goods allowed for parallel import. To exclude a trademark or product from the list, the brand owner must affirm their commitment to remaining in the Russian market and maintaining supply chain operations. Many companies have already successfully used that option. Enforcement. There has been much speculation about changes in Russia's IP protection landscape due to sanctions, with some suggesting IP no longer exists there. Notwithstanding, the IP system continues to function efficiently, protecting IP owners without discrimination. All legal mechanisms for IP protection and enforcement remain operational, reflecting consistent legal procedures. Foreign-owned IP, including from unfriendly countries, remains fully protected under Russian law. Russia maintains its membership in major IP-related international agreements, such as the Paris Convention, the Madrid System, and the TRIPS agreement, without plans to withdraw. Current practice confirms that IP remains enforceable in Russia, irrespective of the political climate. For instance, in case No. 40269937/2022, the owner of the Levi's trademark filed a lawsuit alleging trademark infringement and succeeded in claiming statutory compensation. The defendant argued that the trademark owner is domiciled in an unfriendly country and had ceased operations in Russia since 2022. Nonetheless, in its resolution dated August 29, 2023, the IP Court ruled that current legislation does not permit violations of IP rights simply because a company's presence in the Russian market is not confirmed. Being designated as an unfriendly country does not negate the defendant's actions found to violate the plaintiff's rights. Such violations carry legal consequences under Russian law, including requiring the defendant to compensate the trademark owner. Conclusion: re-entering the Russian market after a temporary exit involves significant challenges, primarily related to IP protection. Despite global political and economic changes, Russia's IP system remains effective, ensuring equal treatment for domestic and foreign trademark holders. The consistent and reliable nature of IP protection emphasizes the importance of safeguarding IP rights and proactively managing them according to current Russian IP laws. By adhering to international IP agreements, Russia bolsters the rights of foreign trademark owners, allowing them to enforce their IP through local courts and law enforcement. Proper planning and active IP management are critical for a successful market re-entry and maintaining brand integrity in an evolving environment. Page 49. Conference Corner. 2025 Voices of the Associations. Paola Ruggiero, ECTA First Vice President responsible for the ECTA Academic Program. Ralph Knack, Reporter General, for AIPPI World Congress. This segment is dedicated to our esteemed IP event organizations and associations with whom we have established media partnerships across the globe. We are privileged to provide them with a platform to keep you, our valued audience, well informed about upcoming events and the latest trends in IP conferences throughout the year. By staying connected with us, you can ensure that you never miss out on any of these significant international events and enriching seminars. The Global IP Matrix. Official Conference Media Partners. For 2025 Conference Media Partnerships. Contact info@gipmatrix.com. Page 50. Article. Disclaimer: images and references related to this article can only be seen in the print and digital versions of the magazine. Unleash the Power of IP, Bears on the Loose is coming up soon at the ECTA 43rd Annual Conference. Written by Paola Ruggiero, ECTA First Vice President in charge of the academic program, Italy. Berlin, the capital of entertainment, is calling all IP professionals to the ECTA 43rd Annual Conference from 18 to 21 June 2025. The title Bears on the Loose celebrates the city's heraldic bear and its vibrant atmosphere. Don't miss the chance to connect with hundreds of IP colleagues from around the world. Why Berlin? With its melting pot of cultures, rich history, and dynamic scenes in creativity, technology, and innovation, Berlin is the ideal backdrop for exploring the world of intellectual property. It will keep our IP bears on the loose and engaged throughout the event. Home to the Berlinale Film Festival, this year's conference embraces a cinematic theme, featuring sessions inspired by iconic movies, including, among others, My Name is Law. Case Law, an overview of recent EU case law. The Beauty and the Bicycle, design and copyright protection. The Golden Bear, compensation for preliminary injunctions. In Their Shoes, how the EU IPO Boards of Appeal rule on disputes. Even our conference logo reflects this theme, featuring a film reel alongside our IP Bear mascot. A sneak peek at the program. Wednesday, the 18th of June, committee meetings, joint workshop with ASAPI, keynote speech on diversity and inclusion and welcome reception. The conference will begin with committee meetings. We have 17 committees at ECTA, offering updates on key IP projects and case law developments. We kick off the academic program with a practical workshop on trademark protection in major jurisdictions, co-hosted with the Inter-American Association of Intellectual Property, ASAPI, strengthening the growing collaboration between the two associations. Continuing ECTA's dedication to diversity and inclusion, Mirtha Atodo-Rivas, Nestlé Liederching, Switzerland, will deliver a keynote speech on the concrete advantages of diversity in the workplace. She will discuss effective strategies for creating inclusive environments and practical steps to enhance diversity within organizations. This session is a must-attend for those interested in driving business success, enhancing team engagement, and fostering equitable workplace practices. The first day will conclude with a welcome reception at Cosmos, formerly the largest cinema in East Germany, perfectly aligned with our film-inspired theme. Thursday, the 19th of June, educational immersion and local tasting. The day will start with Benjamin Fontaine, ECTA's second vice president, interviewing key IP personalities about IP news and trends. Another highlight of the day will be a lively discussion between Fabio Ongolini, ECTA Amicus Curiae Task Force Chair, Bugnian, Italy, and Sven Sturman, recently appointed president of the EU IPO Boards of Appeal, on how the EU IPO Boards of Appeal rule in trademark and design cases. The insights gained during the session will let our audience better understand the functioning and peculiarities of the EU IPO Boards of Appeal. Other sessions include a discussion on design and copyright protection, featuring the recently refurbished new Nationalgalerie in Berlin, as well as an overview of the first 2 years of unified patent court case law. This session will provide exclusive insights from UPC judges and registrar, shedding light on litigation dynamics before the court. While ECTA has long been recognized for its expertise in trademark law, its focus has expanded over the years to encompass many other areas of intellectual property. For the first time, patents take center stage, following the recent establishment of the ECTA Patent Committee, which already comprises over 60 ECTA members. So, patent experts, this conference is for you too. We will wrap up the day with a special toast to warmly welcome first-time attendees to the annual conference and introduce them to the ECTA family and the many benefits of being part of our friendly network. Representatives from the ECTA Young Professionals Group will also be present to introduce the group and greet newcomers. The evening will continue with a networking reception at the stunning Baroque orangery of Charlottenburg Palace. Friday, the 20th of June, Learning Boost and Gala Dinner. A very practical session on IP contracts will be invaluable for all practitioners, particularly those early in their careers. If you work with license agreements, coexistence agreements, IP clauses in research contracts, commercial agreements, or other IP-related deals, this session is not to be missed. With Berlin hosting the renowned Berlinale Film Festival, we will also explore IP in the film industry and cover other topics such as compensation for preliminary injunctions. One of the most anticipated sessions will be ECTA's signature review of recent EU case law, moderated this year by the brilliant Verena von Bomhard, Bomhard Intellectual Property, Spain, who will guide us through recent significant decisions and trends. Saturday, the 21st of June, explore the best of Berlin with guided half-day or full-day excursions. Upon reservation only. Why attend the ECTA Annual Conference? The ECTA Annual Conference is a key event for IP practitioners across Europe and beyond. It offers a unique platform for high-level discussions while maintaining a close-knit atmosphere that fosters lasting professional relationships. This year, we mark a significant milestone, ECTA's 45th anniversary. With decades of dedication to the IP community, this conference is an even more special opportunity to engage with peers. At ECTA, we are more than just colleagues, we are a friendly and welcoming community. Don't miss out, join us and experience it firsthand. We look forward to meeting you. Not an ECTA member yet? Registering for the annual conference as a non-member includes ECTA membership until the end of the year. However, applying for ECTA membership first allows you to register at a discounted member conference rate.
Page 52. Advertisement. ECTA 43rd Annual Conference. Berlin. Bears on the Loose. 18th to June 21st, 2025. Get ready for an event filled with dynamic discussions, networking opportunities, and creative inspiration. Join us in vibrant Berlin, Germany, for a unique first-hand experience when Bears on the Loose at the next ECTA Annual Conference. Contact us at www.ecta.org. ECTA Secretariat +32251355285.
Page 53. Article. Disclaimer: images and references related to this article can only be seen in the print and digital versions of the magazine. AIPPI World Congress 2025, a conversation with Ralph Knack, Reporter General, on the road to Yokohama 2025. Hosted by Zafira Hudani, reporter at Northlands Media PR and Marketing Limited, London, UK. The AIPPI World Congress has long been a cornerstone event for IP professionals worldwide, bringing together thought leaders, policymakers, and practitioners to discuss the latest developments in IP law. As we look ahead to this year's gathering in Yokohama, Japan, we had the pleasure of speaking with Ralph Knack, Reporter General of AIPPI, about his journey with the organization, the evolving landscape of IP law, and what attendees can expect from the 2025 Congress. In this insightful discussion, Ralph shares how AIPPI has adapted to technological advancements, the rigorous process behind formulating IP resolutions, and the unique aspects of this year's Congress, including a strong focus on artificial intelligence and exclusive sessions dedicated to Japan's rich IP landscape. Zafira: Hi, Ralph, and thank you for your time today. Can you tell us about AIPPI and how you became involved with the association? Ralph: I became involved with AIPPI 23 years ago when I was a PhD student at the Max Planck Institute for Intellectual Property Law in Munich. My thesis supervisor, Professor Strauss, asked me to prepare a report about the national law for computer-related inventions. As a reward for doing so, I had the opportunity to participate in the AIPPI World Congress in Melbourne. Zafira: 23 years, that is a long time ago. At that time, was the organization smaller? Ralph: No, it is a very old organization founded in the late 19th century. It is the oldest IP organization on the planet and is the largest organization outside of the National Bar Association. It has always been very big. Back then, it had roughly 9,000 members. Zafira: Have methods of communicating information changed as technology has advanced? Ralph: AIPPI has over 120 years of history. It started with pen and paper, as well as physical meetings. The organization is all about improving and harmonizing the law in the field of IP. Since its foundation, it has provided guidelines and contributions on how to harmonize the law on a national and international basis. For example, the Paris Convention is basically authored by AIPPI. At that time, the working method of AIPPI was essentially the same as it is today. It starts with a study on a particular subject matter of various national laws of countries where AIPPI is represented. The individual studies of national laws are then sent to the Reporter General, me, in this case. The Reporter General and his team create a summary report based on the information provided. This summary report is then given to a committee to draft a resolution. The draft resolution is then discussed at the World Congress, where the resolution is democratically voted on. Then the resolution is adopted to assist in improving the law on a national or international level. In addition, AIPPI places great emphasis on education to enhance the knowledge base and skill set of its members. Standing committees focus on areas of IP law. For example, plant rights protection. We have 25 standing committees, which essentially cover all areas of IP law. Zafira: What factors determine where to host the yearly World Congress? Ralph: The process of choosing the location is a bit difficult to understand because it is evolving. It used to be a popular vote by the executive committee, largely based on the preference of the committee members. It was a pure majority vote wherever we went. That was the old style. Yokohama was selected under the old regime. We are now moving away from that and directing the choice of location to a more business-oriented selection. This is to ensure that we choose a location that is relatively easy to travel to, ensure the success of the conference, and consider the security and safety of all participants. Zafira: Is there anything in particular that participants can expect from this year's World Congress in Japan? Ralph: Each World Congress has a particular note or flavor based on the jurisdiction. This location was selected 6 years ago, and the schedule was adjusted due to the pandemic. Last year, we also visited Asia, specifically in Hangzhou, China. This year, we are looking more closely at Japan by having various high-ranked speakers from the judiciary, from the government ministries and practitioners. There are portions of the program that are specific to Japan. For example, we will have a lunch session on the geographical indications of sake, Japanese rice wine. We will have a second lunch session on the enforcement of copyright protection of manga, which is like artistic work in storytelling, so that is the national flavor. Content-wise, there is a heavy focus on the impact of artificial intelligence, AI, on functionality and enforceability of IP rights. AI is a vast topic that poses significant challenges, particularly to copyright law and patent law, and the answers remain to be found. We are striving to first analyze the challenges, trying to find answers, and thereby helping national judiciaries and lawmakers to provide appropriate responses. Zafira, AI is a huge topic now. What is the process of formulating a resolution to improve IP protection in relation to AI? Ralph, this is the improving part. As I mentioned, the process typically takes around a year. It begins with the analysis of national law by national groups. They prepare a report and send it to the Reporter General. The Reporter General and his team summarize the national reports, around 30 to 40, into a summary report. Based on that, a specially appointed committee begins preparing a draft resolution, which is then discussed in 3 rounds at the World Congress. Essentially, that is the process. The resolutions focus on harmonization. The proposals are directed to WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization, or WTO, World Trade Organization, or intergovernmental groups, such as P+, which is a network between patent offices. AIPPI can also provide direction to a national judiciary if the question involves the interpretation of the law. Zafira, how would you advise a participant to prepare for the AIPPI World Congress? Ralph, there are different types of participants. There are those who have been more active by helping prepare national group reports and have been selected by their group to represent their country at the World Congress. These individuals are automatically much more involved and engaged in the discussions of specific study committees. For these participants, it leads to very constructive discussions. There are other participants who focus on the educational opportunities available at the conference. There is education related to all types of IP law. Both hard IP, including patent law, and soft IP, such as copyright and trademark law. The World Congress offers diverse ways for attendees to engage in active discussions. There are panel sessions, which are like a signature dish of AIPPI, because they are very well prepared and very interactive for the participants. In addition, we have the AIPPI cafes. Cafes are educational sessions that take place during the various coffee breaks, a 30-minute time slot, in which a facilitator leads a discussion topic with a small group of participants. Zafira, do participants attend every year? Ralph, I would say that there is a core of attendees who attend every year. Nowadays, the Congress meets every year. It used to meet every other year. There are also an additional number of attendees who attend based on the jurisdiction where the Congress is located. There are generally between 2,000 and 4,500 attendees at each World Congress. We are expecting a very high attendance this year. Zafira, do participants who wish to be a panel speaker or facilitator at AIPPI cafes have a specific level of experience? Ralph, no, there is no particular level of experience necessary. The speakers are selected by the Reporter General's team, my team. We have various selection criteria. Overall, the requirement is to ensure the diversity of the participants. This includes many factors, such as professional experience, geographical diversity, and gender diversity. At AIPPI, we focus on giving young and unexposed practitioners the opportunity to speak and shine by showcasing their knowledge. In addition, we try to rotate speakers as much as possible so that we do not have the so-called usual suspects speaking at every Congress. It is rather a disqualifying element if you were a speaker at the previous Congress. Zafira, can you explain how the educational portion of the AIPPI World Congress helps younger participants expand their knowledge of IP law? Ralph, we have essentially 3 approaches. The first is the Young Member Initiative. This is a special committee with AIPPI members below the age of 35 from various jurisdictions. This group enables members to interact with one another both internationally and within their own jurisdictions. These young members have a very prominent role in the Congress and at our midterm meetings. At the Congress, they run cafes and send people to the panel sessions. The second aspect is that within the 25 standing committees, there is a limit of 2 members per country. Additionally, each country has extra slots, including one designated for young members. This gives young members the opportunity to meet experienced practitioners. For example, the head of the Pharma Committee is the head of IP Pharma for Merck Pharmaceuticals. Third, on the national level, the national groups take an interest in promoting young members. For example, the German National Group awards a scholarship to assist young members to cover part of the cost of attending an AIPPI World Congress. Zafira, what advice would you give to someone who is interested in joining AIPPI? Ralph, well, the organization, as you may have figured out, is very complex. It takes a while to understand how it works. It is probably best to start small. Become a member and attend one of our small local or regional events. For example, the German, Polish, and French jurisdictions have an event that is a day and a half long in one of the 3 jurisdictions. It is relatively inexpensive and easy to travel to. I highly recommend that young members attend the smaller meetings, for example, the midterm meeting, which has about 300 people attending. There is also emphasis placed on getting to know the leadership of AIPPI. This is possible in our smaller meetings. For example, for the upcoming midterm meeting on the 21st, there is an opportunity called Bureau at the Bar. The members of the AIPPI Bureau are the bartenders, and members can get a drink, talk to us, and ask questions.
Page 55. Advertisement. 2025 AIPPI World Congress. Yokohama, Japan. 13 to September 16, 2025. Join over 2,000 attendees and meet around 100 international speakers to expand your IP knowledge and network. Japan's gateway to innovation. For the 2025 AIPPI World Congress, we are heading to the vibrant city of Yokohama. www.aipppicongress.org.
Page 56. Advertisement. AIPF, Association of Intellectual Property Firms. 2025 Annual Meeting. 10th and the 11th of September, 2025. Catamaran Resort Hotel and Spa. Mission Bay, San Diego, California. Navigating the firm economics of the IP boutique practice. More information at website www.aipf.com/20250 AIPF Annual Meeting. Email admin@aipf.com. Page 57. Advertisement. Stillwater's Law Firm. People, Integrity, Service. Nigeria, Angola, OAPI. Protecting Ideas in Africa. Services. Intellectual property, media, entertainments, technology, sports, and litigation. Second floor, 11 Awolo Road, Ikori, Lagos. P.O. Box 56161, Ikoyi, 101008, Lagos, Nigeria. Tel 234 0 1454 7179 to 234 0 1460541 234 0 145444919. Email info@stillwaterslaw.com or admin@stillwaterslaw.com. www.stillwaterslaw.com. Page 14. Advertisement. Centric. Empowering creativity, enforcing IP rights. Your IP partner for protection, through management to enforcement. Analyzing, protecting, and managing your IP rights in India subcontinent. Telephone 91-892-967-5463. Email info@centric.com. www.certic.com.
Page 58. Advertisement. Women's IP World Ranking 2026. Top 100 influential women leaders in IP law, champions of leadership, innovation, and global influence 2026 ranking. This ranking celebrates the exceptional contributions of women who are shaping the future of IP law and innovation across various domains. Why participate? Gain recognition for your achievements. Showcase your work internationally. Connect with leading women in the field. Categories included excellence in IP strategy and portfolio management, leadership in IP commercialization and licensing, excellence in trademark and brand protection, leader in IP policy development and reform, innovation leadership in patent law and prosecution, IP enforcement and anti-counterfeiting leader, excellence in IP management for emerging markets, thought leadership in IP law and practice, leader in women's advancement in IP, pioneering IP work in sector-specific innovation. Stay informed. Be recognized. Subscribe to the Women's IP World website to be the first to know when the 2026 ranking nominations open. www.womensipworld.com. info@womenipworld.com. Page 59. Inside back cover advertisement. Sing and Sing. India's finest IP advisory on copyright, trademark, prosecution, etc. Sudeep Chatterjee, Senior Partner, Member, INTA Enforcement Committee, Asian Patent Attorneys Association, Counselor and Secretary, APA Indian Group, Sing and Sing Law Firm LLP, C130, Defense Colony New Delhi, 110024 India. Handheld, +929820676281. Direct, +911149826091. Email, sudeep@singandsing.com.
Outside back cover advertisement. Final page. Pat World. Global IP research services and training. Pat World Resurrect Services. Trusted, reliable, accurate. The Pat World team combines scientific expertise with commercial insights to deliver comprehensive IP research solutions. Our services. Partner with a team trusted by tech companies, universities, and IP professionals worldwide. Pat World Database, your ultimate AI-powered patent research tool. Pat World Training Course CPD, certified online learning. Get in touch. Phone, +440-1633816601. Email, mail@patworld.com. www.patworld.com. Innovation House, 6, Cedar Court, Celtic Springs, Newport NP108FY.
You have been listening to issue 22 of the Global IP Matrix magazine. If you would like to be part of the industry's #1 IP publication to share your knowledge with the global IP community, then please reach out to us at telephone +44 0203-813-0457 or email us at info@gipmatrix.com. Visit our website www.gipmatrix.com. Thank you.